Not far from the foothills of monsoon mountains of India lies Shimoga. The enchanting natural scenery of hills, little streams, birds, to large animals like the elephant are great delights of Malnad region. With its rich monuments and forts made of marvelous structure and intrinsic details, makes nearly impossible to recreate. These heritages stand proud and still to mark the cultural beauty of the region. This district in southern Indian state of Karnataka is not only a Western Ghats charm and a Malnad delight, but also one of the finest habitable places for man in the tropical region. It's a usual day for Nagamma to prepare cow dung flooring. She has been in Ashram for about 2 years now, doing the same along with other chores. Not known her family, not known her home, Ashram would be the only paradise left for her. Like for most of them there, human misery and pathos lay in the human mind through loneliness coupled with fatigue of a lifelong struggle or that of age. The feeling of being useless and unwanted severs one's will to live. This is the exact offset where a place like the ashram comes in. Though this home surfaces the depths of misery many a soul reach, yet it adheres to a certain spirit of its own, redefining the purpose of few people who otherwise have outlived their usefulness for their immediate society. Traditional rural homes use cow dung on floor and walls of their homes and huts. They say dried dung applied to their walls and floor can drive off household insects and mosquitoes. According to Ayurveda, a traditional system of Indian medications and treatment, both cow dung and urine are antiseptic, and it is widely used for treating various skin and gastrointestinal disorders. The dawn for ashram breaks with an important spiritual process, that of rangoli, a decorative design of bright colors, usually made from modest household ingredients such as wet granulated rice or flour, vermilion, turmeric, colored sand, dried powder made from the leaves and flower petals. It is an Indian folk art which in faith acts as an harbinger of goodness and austerity. The ashram in itself preserves few traditions. It's a popular custom for elder women in most of traditional India to groom the hair of ones who are young. Indian women traditionally wear their hair long, as it has remained a cultural preference and mark of beauty. Beyond that, it ties down the aspect of two women who are otherwise separated in years, in that of experience, disposition, or mental equity. Such a practice in this ashram paves the way for a learning curve for both the souls. Aishwarya came to ashram when she was just 3 years old. Unable to take care of her in terms of basic needs and education, her parents, Nagaraju and Satyamma, decided to send her to ashram. The rhythm of this institution is driven by its own people, by helping each other with whatever humble effort one can effectively put forward. This quite self-motivated service serves as an example of being valued, and it exhibits a momentum in continuity towards serving people. A connectedness which this home solemnly achieves by itself without any external stimulation. People like Shivarna serve men here by offering the services of haircut and shave. Shivarna has been a barber for more than 30 years. It is a family business, and he has been proud of his profession ever since he started serving these destitutes. He believes serving these destitutes is no lesser than serving God Himself. While someone's humble endeavor commences with cutting and grooming the inmate's hair, others start with preparing firewood for the ashram's kitchen. Ashram stands symbolically akin to the Western Ghats, bearing an exalted and rarefied idea of being a home away from home. People like Mutaja chops wood every morning for his landlord. He has an anonymous past. No one knows much about him except that he hails from some unknown place in Tamil Nadu. He cannot hear or speak, but works hard, and as wages brings logs of wood to this ashram. Just as the Western Ghats stand towards a major influence in defining this nation's unique biodiversity, this small home stands influentially, giving anticipation and hope to these people. Shimoga is blessed with plentiful rainfall and lush greenery, and adds to a considerable amount of crop production in the southern state of Karnataka. A majority of rainfall occurs between the months of June and early October. As in most parts in tropical India, the main harvest season is autumn. Till date, India is still predominantly an agrarian society. Farmers often associate their crops as a gift from God. Prayers and customs are often linked to the turn of the season and to the sowing and reaping of crops. Worshipping, rituals and festivals mark the end of one agricultural harvest and the beginning of a new one. The harvest has been good this year for farmer Shankarappa, who hails from Tavanandi. The process of trampling involves separation of grains from straw. Fanning or cleaning process is one of the major processes involved in paddy harvesting activity. The trampled grain is collected and fanned to blow the chaff and waste particles. The grain is poured to the ground in a slow rhythmic pace for the wind to blow off the waste particles. The filtered grains are then accumulated and stored for further processing. This traditional method of harvesting and accumulations of paddy grain is still prevalent among farmers in Shimoga. As he celebrates the reason for his good harvest, Shankarappa emphasizes on the power of faith and devotion. He talks about a certain Bangareshwara temple which has been standing as a pillar to these people's wishes and wants. People from the nearby villages often come to offer prayers to the deity of the temple. It is believed in this part of the region that the powerful deity of Bangareshwara temple has the supernatural ability of granting the wishes of his devotees. Rituals such as sacrificing a child's hair for the first time at this place or that of ear piercing are considered sacred. Ear piercing, known as Karnaveda Samskara, is considered an important ceremony in many Hindu traditions. Karnaveda Samskara is one of the 16 sacraments performed on the 10th, 12th or the 16th day after the birth of a child. Some perform on the odd years, 3rd and 5th year of childbirth. Karnaveda Samskara comes from ancient times. According to Sushruta, the ancient book of health and longevity, ear piercing protects the child from several diseases. It is also believed ear piercing helps in maintaining the regularity in the menstrual cycle of a girl. It is estimated that the number of devotees swarm up to 100,000 during the pious occasion of Shivaratri. The Bangareshwara temple is one of the biggest temples situated in Banavasi, almost 30 kilometers from Tavanandi, where Shankarappa lives. The temple is efficacious too. In Shankarappa's opinion, God has given him everything. There is nothing that he can give him in return except help less fortunate people and offer them whatever he could in the name of God. The temple and the actions of its subjects, like that of Shankarappa, act as units of constant cue of people's faith in goodwill and harmony. The ashram endures on donations. This season, Shankarappa's grain has come of immense aid. Providing food for the dwellers of this ashram is a crucial and imposing task, with most able members of the ashram being busy or occupied. It often falls on the responsibility of a single member, like Chandrakka, to prepare food for all. Forest wood is used to make the fire, which steams a very unpretentious base meal made of rice and stew. The job isn't over at preparing food. Chandrakka has to feed members of the ashram. Members of this ashram also comprise of people brought along by their parents and relatives. Each member of this ashram has a story to tell. Few inmates have dementia. Few have epilepsy. Few have cerebral palsy. For these people, they have already reached a threshold where the fast-moving, give-and-take world has no place for them whatsoever, but hope lingers. Many children are left at this ashram, given that their parents were unable to provide them with the basic amenities in life: food, shelter, and education. Baby, a woman in her late 20s, narrates her story on how she landed up here with her baby. She hails from a Brahmin family and her husband is a Christian. A few months into the marriage, her husband Johnson abandoned her and their child, Swati. From there on, it has been an enormous struggle to survive for her. She lost her job and was left helpless in fending for herself and her child. It was in such a time of imperative need that she met Prabhakar, in charge of the ashram, who brought her here and provided her with solace. Selfless people like Prabhakar offer his services to these people of the ashram. He looks over the ashram and is one of the in-charges. It's more out of self-righteousness that he has formed a strong bonding with his unique inmates. Prabhakar personally attends to these inmates, treating them to the best of his knowledge. Members here suffer from chronic diseases. Vanita has a harrowing tale of losing her husband and then being abandoned by her own children, who did not want to take the obligation of caring an ailing old woman like her. Grief-stricken and ill, she wandered in the streets. At last, few local brought her to the ashram. Praveen has a serious foot injury which went unattended for several weeks before he came to the ashram. Sadly, he is not in a condition to explain what had happened to him. He was found near a bus terminus, unable to walk. With time and without treatment, his injured foot got badly infected with maggots. Prabhakar sent out Praveen's details in local newspapers so that, if he was missing, someone would come and claim him. But no one did. Ironically, the source of the pain is not always physical in nature, but occurs more due to dying attachments. An inspiring story of a young boy tells a different story. Lokesh came to know about this ashram from a local newspaper. He was desperate to carry on his studies, but his parents couldn't afford for the same. A boy of only 11 left his home and came to this ashram, lured by the fact that it would help him achieve his dream of becoming a business graduate. The ashram has been sponsoring Lokesh's educational needs. Lokesh hopes that one day, even amidst affliction, he would become an accountant after completing his graduation in commerce. The place is infested with snakes, and villagers try to clean out the weeds so as to prevent snakes from sharing their habitat. Prabhakar has an appealing task beside taking care of the ashram, and this venture serves purposes. One, that of conservation, and the other, that of revenue. He often gets 2 to 3 calls daily to rescue snakes from concerned villagers and nearby towns. The Western Ghats is one of the wettest places on the earth and is home to thousands of animal species, including at least 325 globally threatened species. Many are endemic species, especially in the amphibian and reptilian classes. One among the thriving species of reptiles, however, is the cobra. Prabhakar, along with Lokesh, who is also getting expertise on snake wrangling, have the responsibility of rescuing such snakes in human habitats, releasing them unharmed in the wild, and spreading awareness about conserving the biodiversity of this biome. Their conservation and rescue mission prevents people from killing snakes and the other endangered species of animals. People are relieved when a snake is rescued from their surrounding and in turn pay Prabhakar a nominal fee of 500 rupees. Most of the people know Prabhakar and hence they take this opportunity to help his ashram too. This species is found predominantly in forests from India, though with constant human encroachment in the forested areas and loss of natural habitat, a confrontation with these deadly but beautiful species is becoming inevitable. Nature somehow has this essence of returning the favor and calibrating every effort done to protect it. Though most of us neglect the very pith of it, yet people of this ashram respect it. Dusk is enveloped in a realm of darkness and that of the chirping sound of crickets. The most dramatic division of cyclical time is the daily contrast between day and night. Twilight is short-lived here. The transition occurs swiftly. The most dramatic division of cyclical time is the daily contrast between day and night. The warmth that a mother brings to her child's life begins at infancy. Mothers of young children shower their kids with baby talk and physical touch. These behaviors show the child that others are sensitive of their needs and that parents can be relied on for emotional responsiveness. As a child grows older, he or she finds warmth in the parent-child relationship in other ways, specifically in receiving the fulfillment of his or her emotional needs, whether they be play or intimate conversation. Warmth in parenting can lead to a cooperative child who is well developed socially and emotionally. Ashram has intermittent doctor's visits for its inmates at the nights too. Some of the inmates in the ashram have accounts of medical history and need professional medical attention. Sometimes the patient is injected with antibiotics and proper care is taken to ensure blood pressure levels and other parameters are normal, given that most of the inmates suffer from ailments. Monthly medical checkups occur and the people of this ashram are given vaccination and immunization shots. The kitchen fire boils down a simple dinner for the night. we envisage a collage of astonishing continuity, a desire turned privilege, which throttles the men and women of this institution with that of struggle and essay, to continue on that hope without pauses, without introspection. In all, Ashram excels in being a better home away from their real home for all its people. Somehow it has in itself an enormous strength and perseverance to place itself completely at the service of others. This ashram serves mankind, and till then mankind, in its cognitive cerebration, can be at peace even when the weightiest proofs fall against them. That ashram fulfills its requisite is established from the fact that it can still bring a smile to the faces of its people, who perhaps had already lost the very quintessence of life.